Elon Musk is an American entrepreneur who rose to global prominence due to his successful venture as the co-founder of the spacecraft manufacturing firm SpaceX in 2002, the electric automotive company Tesla in 2003, the infrastructure and tunnel construction company The Boring Company in 2016, and the brain-computer interface machine development firm Neuralink also in 2016. Aside from these successful businesses he helped build, he had the foresight to invest early on in several technological companies, which have also contributed to the increase of his net worth over the years. This 2022, amidst the pandemic, he went up from second place on the billionaires list and was declared the richest man on earth, with known assets anyway. People have described Elon Musk as a business leader, an innovator, an entrepreneur, and a huge social media influencer. However, few people were aware of what his life was about before he became popular and successful. Elon Reeve Musk came from a wealthy and prominent family who had South African, British, Pennsylvania Dutch, and Anglo-Canadian heritage. He was born on the 28th of June 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa. His Canadian mother, May Haldeman Musk, was raised in South Africa and is a former model, a Miss South Africa finalist, and a dietitian. His South African father, Errol Musk, is an electromechanical engineer and a property developer, who for a time was a half-owner in an emerald mine located close to Lake Tanganyika in Zambia. His father was very much interested in politics and was elected representative of the anti-apartheid Progressive Party in the Pretoria City Council. His parents were childhood neighbors and then became college sweethearts. He has two younger siblings, Kimball, born in 1972, and Tosca in 1974. His parents divorced in 1980, and he chose to live with his father. At the time, he pitied his father, believing that he was going to be lonely, while his mother had his two other siblings living with her. But after 2 years of living with him, Elon regretted his decision. It was around that time when he had his adenoids removed, because most people around him suspected that he was deaf. However, his mother told everyone that her son wasn't deaf, but was just listening in another world. There were times when he would go missing while the family was out shopping. Initially, they were worried about him, but later on, his mother became used to his habit of being in a trance-like state and sometimes reading in a secluded part of a bookstore. Elon was quite different from most boys his age. At the age of 10, he became interested in computers and video games. He convinced his father to buy him a computer, as he'd already learned the intricacies of computer programming by just reading a manual. He created a video game called Blaster, which was sold for $500 to the PC and Office Technology magazine when he was 12. Eli's imagination and creativity were quite evident even back then. He had a photographic memory that never endeared him to other kids because he developed a habit of correcting them. When he ran out of books to read, he began reading 2 different sets of encyclopedias. He attended the Waterkloof House Preparatory School, then went to Bryanston High School, where he was bullied for 3 years. One time, a gang of students beat him up, and he blacked out. His brother said that his face looked like he had been in a boxing ring because it was quite swollen and bloody. Due to the bullying, his parents transferred him to Pretoria High School, from where he matriculated without incident, since the students there were more disciplined. Elon, along with his siblings and even his mother, didn't like to talk about the patriarch of the Musk family. His mother said that nobody liked his father, and they avoided bringing him into any conversation as the stories were horrendous. She said that there were kids and grandkids involved, so she didn't want to elaborate. When Elon chose to be with his father after his parents divorced, he had a clearer picture of what kind of person his father was, and didn't like it. It was his grandmother who made everything bearable. When Elon was asked about his childhood, he said, "It may sound good. It was not absent of good, but it was not a happy childhood. It was like misery." When he was pressed about his father, he shared that Errol wasn't a happy man and was good at making other lives miserable. For the sake of his half-sisters, he refrained from talking more about their father. People are curious about how bad his father was, because when Elon began having kids, he and his wife agreed that no matter what happened, their children would never meet their grandfather. His family's wealth gave him the luxury to travel the globe. He realized that his geeky inclinations weren't appreciated in his hometown, So America became his ultimate goal, because he believed that it was the land of opportunity, where he knew that his dreams, however improbable at the time, could be provided the perfect platform to make them a reality. When he told his father about his plans, he rejected them and even had him experience a taste of what it was to live in America. Errol made his son do all the house chores by letting go of the household help. Elon acquired Canadian citizenship through his mother and studied at Queen's University in Ontario, but not before spending a year working odd jobs because the uncle with whom he was supposed to live had already moved to the U.S. He had a difficult time adjusting to his new life there and even accepted a job cleaning boilers. Eventually, his mother and siblings followed him. While studying at university, he applied for a U.S. visa, which took 2 years to acquire. He attended the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, where he graduated with a bachelor's degree in physics. He further studied at Wharton School to earn his bachelor's degree in economics. Then, Elon wanted to continue studying for his PhD in applied physics at Stanford University, but his entrepreneurial visions lured him out of the program after just a few days, and he went to Silicon Valley. Elon's passions for making something work was legendary because he dedicated so much of his time creating solutions to problems, even if some of the goals he had sounded completely absurd to most businessmen. People around him were surprised that with his busy schedule, he found time to court women. He reportedly dated many, but has married just 2. Though all in all, Elon has 10 children with 3 women. While trying to figure out what to do with companies such as Zip2 and PayPal, Elon courted Justine Wilson, who was studying as a writer at the time, by flying out to her place during weekends. He'd taken a liking to her when he saw her across the common room while he was studying at Queen's University. When he approached her, he pretended that they'd met at a party, but she knew it was a lie because she never attended such a party. She initially blew him off when he asked her out with him for ice cream, but he was persistent. He still lived with roommates then, but after he sold Zip2, he bought his own place, which made it easier for him to devote more time to her. They fought a lot because Justine's ex-boyfriend continued calling her. I remember thinking it was a lot of drama and that if I was going to put up with it, we might as well be married, said Elon, who proposed on the spot, but reenacted his proposal after a few days with a ring in his hand. The couple had 5 children, but their eldest, Nevada Alexander, died when he was 10 weeks old. This was the time when PayPal was sold to eBay and increased Elon's net worth by over $100 million. The doctors called it sudden infant death syndrome. The baby was resuscitated and lived for 3 days on life support until Elon and Justine decided to pull the plug. He's never wanted to talk about his son's death. To move on from the loss, Justine relied on IVF to have children and soon became pregnant with twins, Griffin and Xavier, born in 2004. 2 years later, the couple had more children, this time blessed with triplets, Damien, Kai, and Saxon. Their marriage lasted only for 8 years, with their divorce granted in 2008. When Xavier reached the age of 18, he applied for a change of name and gender in court, and now goes by the name of Vivian Jenna Wilson. He also dropped his father's last name, saying, "I no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form." Barely 6 weeks after Elon filed for divorce in 2008, he sent a text message to Justine informing her that he was engaged to British actress Tallulah Riley. For some reason, Tallulah became friends with Elon's first wife, and people around them were astounded. Apparently, during the divorce proceedings, Justine sent an email to Tallulah and told her that she'd rather live out the French movie version with the first and second wives being friends instead of the American version in which someone died and there was always a catfight. Tallulah agreed, saying, "Let's do as the French do." Tallulah then moved to Los Angeles and married Elon in 2010. Since he shared custody with his kids, sometimes they lived with them. The marriage didn't last long, as they were divorced in 2012, but the couple reunited after a year and married for the second time. However, it didn't take long for them to separate once more, and he filed for divorce again in 2014, which was finally granted in 2016. Elon didn't have children with Tallulah. Claire Elise Boucher, popularly known by her professional name Grimes, is a Canadian singer-songwriter, musician, and record producer. She had been known as one of the most adventurous solo artists in the music industry until she met Elon in 2018 and became his girlfriend. Artificial intelligence was one of the couple's common denominators. She loved talking about it, and he found her the best person to discuss it with. When it was reported that they had a baby boy, people were curious about the child, most especially when the parents named him XAEA-12 Musk, fondly pronounced by his mother as XAI Archangel. Officially, the name was changed to XAEA-XII Musk because the original name had characters which were not recognized under California law as part of the modern English alphabet. To make it easier for everyone, he was simply called X. There had been so much interest in the baby that drones followed them everywhere, so they often moved house. The whole world thought that Elon only had one child with Grimes, but in an interview with Vanity Fair, it was discovered that the couple had a secret baby born in 2021. They were able to keep it a secret because they had the baby through surrogacy. She was named Exa Dark Sidriel Musk and was nicknamed Y. During an interview, a baby was heard crying on the second floor of the house. Each time the baby cried, Grimes winced, and the interviewer knew that something was amiss, especially when the baby couldn't be hushed. It was then that Grimes confessed to having another baby. Most people thought that because of their children, Elon and Grimes were a couple, but he admitted that they were semi-separated because they never actually lived together. They confessed that they were too different. He liked neat aesthetics, while she liked to mess with everything. In March 2022, she said, "I would probably refer to him as my boyfriend, but we're very fluid." That same month, however, she announced via Twitter that she and Elon had broken up, but remained friends. Both admitted that the relationship they shared was quite unusual, but they understood each other. The eccentric billionaire surprised everyone again this July 2022, when it was reported that one of his executives, Siobhan Zilas, had given birth to twins, and according to the public court documents, he was written in as the father. The gossip mill went into overdrive because it seemed that there was an overlap in the timeline between his relationship with Grimes and Siobhan. Apparently, the date of the documents indicated that his newest twins came within weeks of Y's birth. There was so much talk on social media that Elon addressed it by posting on Twitter, "Doing my best to help the underpopulation crisis. The collapsing birth rate is the biggest danger civilization faces by far." He went on to say that the population on Mars was still zero. There was a surge of people searching on social media for a new woman in Elon's life, and it turned out that she was the director of operations on one of his projects in Neuralink. It was also reported that the couple chose Austin to be their main base, living there in a $4 million residence. When a rich man acknowledged having fathered 10 children, no one questioned his ability to provide for them, especially with the amount of money Elon Musk was estimated to have at this time. It was in 2013 when his growth as a billionaire was noticed. He had an estimated net worth of $2.7 billion that year, and it continued increasing until 2021, when his assets blew out to an estimated $151 billion. Tesla made such a huge splash, and he owned 25% of it. But what really set him apart in 2022 and helped him snatch the top position on the richest person list from Jeff Bezos of Amazon were his investments in SpaceX. In May 2022, it quadrupled his value and was estimated to be worth $125 billion. With all that success, he came out on top with a net worth of $253 billion according to Forbes. Expect more children from Elon Musk as he loves to procreate, and with his overflowing assets, he can surely afford to provide for them financially. However, children also need other things from their fathers. While there's no such thing as the perfect father, an estranged relationship with Vivian was hopefully just an isolated case, and not extended to his other children. It would be unfortunate if he didn't have a great relationship with his kids, as he didn't have one with his own father. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpicked these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.